How much did the speech cost me? Well, I think it could have cost the company a few £100 million, maybe. 100 million, 200 million. And it cost me, personally, obviously, it cost me everything.
It was 1991, and Gerald Ratner was celebrating the most successful decade of his life. In the space of just a few years, he had turned his family's jewellery shop into a competitive chain with locations up and down the world. His business had well and truly expanded to heights unimaginable to most. So how exactly did his business almost collapse, and how did he lose everything in just a matter of months? It wasn't any financial chicanery or investment cock-ups that led to his empire going under. It was his own mouth. This is the speech that killed a business empire. Before we get to the speech itself, it's important to appreciate quite how big Ratner's group was at the time that everything went sour. Ratner's had come from a couple of shops in the mid-60s to a flourishing magnate with fingers in almost every jewellery business around. They succeeded by appealing to more everyday consumers than the elite and well-to-do who could generally afford jewellery and were subsequently targeted in advertising. They charged less, they cut corners, and they sold in the loudest, gaudiest way possible. Bright, discount-laden posters as far as the eye could see. They sought mass appeal, and they got it. Ratner quickly became one of the most successful businessmen of the era, with an empire spanning almost every market. So how did everything go wrong? Like many executives and business people, Ratner was invited to speak at the Institute of Directors meeting, an annual conference held in London, to talk about his fortune and success with the Ratner Group. In an interview with the Jewish Chronicle in 2007, Ratner stated that some of the additional speechwriters he had hired had suggested he used jokes that they had bantered about in the past. These jokes took aim at the quality of Ratner's cut-price goods. At the meeting, the jokes were a hit, garnering laughter as heard on the official recording of the speech.
So that leaves me with the original chain, Ratner's. And I have to admit that while it offers choice with its 99p earrings, it's positioned very down market, and it doesn't represent prosperity, and come to think of it, it's got very little to do with quality as well. We also do this nice sherry decanter. It's cut glass, and it comes complete with 6 glasses on a silver-plated tray that your butler could bring you in and serve you drinks on, and it's really only cost £4.95. People say to me, how can you sell this for such a low price? I say, because it's total crap. It's no point beating around the bush. Anyway, we even sell a pair of earrings for under £1. Gold earrings as well. And some people say, well, that's cheaper than a prawn sandwich from Marks and Spencer's. But I have to say, the sandwich will probably last longer than the earrings, but anyway.
However, according to Ratner, the journalists in the room twisted the meaning and intention of his comments. Regardless, these comments were picked up by journalists in the room, and the rest is history. Ratner Group lost £500 million off its net worth. Store closures happened across the country. A media campaign denigrated the brand further. Consumer boycotts of anything Ratner-related ravaged the nation. And after 2 years of trying to turn fortunes around, Ratner was ousted from his own family company, and the whole organisation rebranded to save face. But were all these decisions down to one speech? Or was it merely a scapegoat for other failures? Britain at the time was facing a recession. All businesses lost some money. Shop closures were abundant for all high street retailers, and people at the top who underperformed do get ousted. Ratner has since argued that this also played a part in the collapse of the brand, but also that because of the negative publicity they were never quite able to find their footing again afterwards. Many other businesses managed to recover after the recession. Whatever the reason, they couldn't find their footing as long as Ratner was at the helm, so in 1992 he was unceremoniously fired, with the chain rebranding to Signet. Signet is in fact the most popular jewellers brand in the entire world, having successfully regained its strength back in the mid-90s with its other non-Ratner branches. And Ratner himself didn't end up too badly, and is in fact still in the jewellery industry. After winding up various other ventures, he entered the online jewellery space with a new brand and new image. This speech is a powerful demonstration of both hubris and the importance of choosing the right wording. One joke at the wrong time can make all the difference in the world. Similarly, what works for one group of people certainly won't for others, and especially if your finances are at stake, thinking before you speak might be a good idea. It also shows that if you don't respect your own product, the customer will not respect you enough to buy it. And now that the dust has settled, we can all agree that it's probably not a wise idea to insult your customer base. Though of course, this story will not stop everyone.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Perhaps think of your dog as your business as your pet dog. You can't stop feeding it or stroking it or taking it for walks just because you're in hard times. What's going to happen if you don't feed your dog? What is going to happen? It's going to drop dead. Well, the same thing can easily happen to the business.